My concern about Part 107 is that it requires no demonstration of skill or proficiency with the aircraft. It's a challenging test, but it's still a fairly low bar for entry, right? You just have to pass the test and then you get your certificate, assuming you pass the TSA background. You get a certificate and then you can fly commercially. So really anyone with an aircraft, well, what if somebody just wants $100 to help pay off the cost of the aircraft? You know, they're going to undercut the industry, somebody like you or myself, who are operating out there in the commercial environment and are running businesses and have insurance and training and doing everything right. It makes it a challenging environment.
It certainly does, and I believe that hopefully in the near future there might be a little bit more stringent requirements in the 107 for licensing and testing and retesting at a later time.
Especially when we get into the higher altitudes above 400 feet. I think that will certainly be a requirement because you're getting into airspace where manned aircraft are flying.
Correct. Especially when you're outside the urban areas.
Right.
In the urban areas where buildings reach that height, I think it's a useful amount of distance, whether you're above the building or beside the building, because that gives plenty of allowance for a manned aircraft, certainly. But professionally, people really need to learn to understand how to charge appropriately. And unfortunately, that takes time.
And people need to have some kind of resource to find out what's an appropriate fee for the service that I'm providing.
And not just for the service you're providing, but for the eventual use of the imagery or whatever it might be. For example, in my industry, there's many different uses of an image that we create, and that has value in every step of the game. Maybe even for inspection analysis, there's different levels as well on inspecting, let's say, a cell phone tower. You know, if there are cracks, if it needs replacing, what the age is. It's information for the manufacturer, it's information for the subcontractor that maintains it. It might have information on how the towers get built in the future. So you've got multiple gains from collecting that analysis. Likewise in agriculture. So once you understand the thoroughness of the image use, then it might give you ammunition on which to charge more appropriately.
Right. I mean, that's a great point. And coming from your background, of course, you see the multiple uses of even a single image and how that's going to be used in the future by different manufacturers and users and whatnot.
Correct.
So wrapping this whole thing up, do you have an overall big picture kind of thought that you would want to give to people who are watching this episode? Putting you on the spot again.
You sure are. Be safe.
Okay, good.
Be cognizant of your surroundings, just as if you were. Be aware, and be businesslike. And
be a pro, right?
Be a pro. Be a pro. Act professionally, and appropriately, and stay constant with changes in the industry.
Up to date.
Up to date with not just technology, but with safety, with regulations, with the overall development of systems, and communicate with others in the industry, because there needs to be more communication between operators. I communicate with lots of different people because we can't do all the work we get called for, so we are constantly referring and vetting out other operators to see if they're appropriate and if they're acting in a professional manner so that we can make recommendations. So be professional and be part of the industry. You know, stay aware.
Great stuff, Mark. Thanks for inviting us in. Thanks for spending the time to sit down with us, with Unmanned Entrepreneur, helping us get the information out there to people who can actively use it. So for Mark Siegel of Skypan, Vince Donahue from Vortex for Unmanned Entrepreneur. Stay safe, stay smart, and until then, let's fly.
Thank you.